Does the Bible support slavery? It's one of those moments when you're reading the Bible and you're enjoying learning and understanding, and then you come across a verse or a chapter that just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. And Exodus 21 is that chapter for me. You see, in Exodus, God has freed the Israelites from slavery, and what he's doing in the wilderness is recreating the Israelite society, giving them new festivals, ways of being, practices. It's a great opportunity to, abolish slavery. But he doesn't. And that's uncomfortable. Because why would a good and just and all-powerful God permit this practice to go on? So we're going to do three things. Number one, understand the context of slavery at this time. Number two, try to understand if God is pro or against it. And number three, really try to unpack how he is rebuilding this society, including slavery. So, number one, what type of slavery are you talking about? Well, at this time, it seems like there are two types of slavery. The first type is chattel slavery. It's when a free person is enslaved, captured, or even sold, forced to work without pay for the rest of their lives. And that type of slavery is what Joseph went through in Genesis. He was sold by his brothers, even though he was a free man, and he had to work as a slave his entire life. Type number two is more akin to bondservant or indentured servant, where in agrarian societies where all you had was your land and whatever was on it, if a drought came, if a harvest wasn't good, you suddenly had no money. You were dirt poor and probably owed someone money. Therefore, you would commit your labor or someone in your household's labor to that person unpaid to pay off your debts. So, chattel slavery, bondservant slavery. Question two now becomes, is God for or against it? And when it comes to the first type of slavery, chattel slavery, I have confidence that God is against this for two reasons. Number one is God himself stepped into that chattel slavery systems that the Egyptians had over the Israelites and rescued the Israelites. He saw the oppressive nature of it and stood against it. And therefore he cannot be for it if he's willing to take people out of it. But also number two, in the New Testament, when you read Timothy, the Bible calls those who enslave people, i.e. the act of taking a free person and making them into a slave, sinful. It's a sin in God's eyes. And so when it comes to chattel slavery, we can be confident that God sees it as a sin. But the story is different when it comes to category number two, bondservant or bondservant slavery. In fact, in Exodus chapter 21, God introduces new laws for this type of slavery. Therefore, God isn't necessarily against it, as he is with chattel slavery. Does that mean that God isn't a good God? Well, no, it actually affirms it. Because what's going on in Exodus 20 and 21, God just introduced the 10 Commandments, which Jesus summarizes to love your God and love others, love other people. And so God is trying to rebuild the entire Israelite society based on a principle of love, dignity, and respect. And therefore, the very first law that God creates after the 10 Commandments, God starts with the place where there is no love and there is no dignity. And you will see, even though the text may feel uncomfortable, particularly reading this in 2025, God is restoring respect and dignity to the bondservant. And he does that in three ways. Number one, he gives them their life back. You see, he puts an end to lifelong servitude, and he says people will work a maximum of 6 years and be freed in the seventh. I.e., no matter how much you owe or how long it would take to repay that, you are given your life back in year 7. Two is he gives women a safety net. You see, he says women can't just be trafficked. You can't just sell them off to a foreigner. God says if she marries into your family, which was common then because they had concubines, God says she is a slave no more. You must treat her and provide for her as you would a free daughter. And if not, then you must give her her freedom without her having to pay for it. Number three, he puts boundaries on physical violence. He says if a slave loses a tooth because of the master, then that slave must go free. If a slave loses his life, then the master must pay for that with his own life, the death penalty. God brings back respect and dignity for their bodies because even though their labor is their master's, their bodies are their own. So even though God is a God who single-handedly overthrew one of the harshest man-made slavery systems in this time, he is also the God that is willing to work in our man-made systems, our economic systems, to bring back light and respect for people. I say man-made because it's important to recognize that this is our creation. It's not God's ideal, but he is willing to work with it. That's free will. When Jesus comes, that's the very place that he starts. Jesus goes first to the poor, to the oppressed, to the marginalized. That is a good God.